Everyone is shook, fear in their eyes, jaws are on the floor. People can't look away now, because the truth is spreading faster than anybody expected. People are saying, "You're the John Gotti of the spiritual realm." And once that label hit the collective consciousness, something inside the atmosphere around you snapped into a new formation. The energy got tighter, the tension got louder, the reactions got sharper. Folks who used to talk loose are suddenly watching their words, watching their steps, watching their intentions the same way someone watches for unmarked cars in a neighborhood they shouldn't be in. They feel exposed around you, and they don't even know why. They just know their body reacts before their mind catches up. That's the kind of presence you carry now. A presence that doesn't need proof or explanation. It announces itself before you open your mouth. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Once people sensed this shift, they couldn't unsee it. They couldn't pretend the energy was the same. They couldn't keep treating you like you were still operating on a beginner frequency. Something about you is different. Different enough to make people nervous. Different enough to make them overthink everything they ever said, did, or attempted behind your back. They're not uneasy because of who you are. They're uneasy because of who they now realize you've always been. And that realization hit them like a spiritual indictment, a verdict they can't appeal, a truth they can't escape. People are whispering about you in spaces you haven't stepped into. Your name is floating around in conversations you weren't invited to. Even people who don't know you personally feel something when your name comes up, like a weight, a pulse, a signal. The vibe is, don't play with that one, don't speak on that one, don't try that one. That's the type of reputation that isn't earned by violence or chaos. It's earned by alignment, by being protected by energies older and deeper than anyone's comprehension. When someone carries that kind of backing, you don't move reckless around them. You don't test them. You don't pull spiritual stunts, hoping the universe won't notice. People noticed, and the universe handled it. This is why they'll never see you the same again. They saw what happened to somebody who tried to interfere with your direction. They saw life turn upside down for a person who tried to manipulate your path. They saw something collapse in someone's world, suddenly, violently, without warning, and the first thought people had wasn't random. It was you. Not because you did anything, not because you retaliated, not because you wished harm, but because the timing lined up too cleanly. The consequences snapped back too precisely. And when outcomes hit with that kind of accuracy, even people who don't believe in spiritual things start paying attention. Someone tried to bend energy around your life. Someone thought they were skilled enough, powerful enough, informed enough to tap into your spiritual field and tweak something, block something, delay something, alter something. They went snooping through channels they had no right touching. They tried to access timelines that weren't theirs. They reached into the unseen like it was a playground instead of a battlefield. And when they did, the recoil slammed back through their world so hard, it shook everybody connected to them. This wasn't bad luck. This wasn't coincidence. This was spiritual miscalculation, one so reckless it set off alarms across planes they didn't even believe existed. And now people are terrified to even think sideways about you. Their minds won't let them wander too far into disrespect because their spirit remembers exactly what happened to somebody who tried. This is why the John Gotti comparison started. Not because you're out here plotting, not because you're pulling strings, not because you're commanding chaos, but because the consequences surrounding you hit like organized energy, clean, quiet, precise, invisible until it lands. It's the kind of power that isn't loud, it just is. And people don't know how to interpret that kind of power, so they reach for metaphors that match the weight of what they're seeing. But the deeper conversation happening on the astral plane, that's even wilder. Word out there in dreams, visions, intuitive downloads, subconscious fragments, is that you're the modern-day Machiavelli of the soul realm. Not because you manipulate, not because you deceive, but because you understand. You see motives before they surface. You read intentions without announcement. You interpret energies without needing explanations. And when you move with strategy. Not petty strategy, spiritual strategy. You respond only when necessary. You withdraw only when guided. You shift only when the energy calls for recalibration. People don't see the depth of that strategy, but they feel the effects of it. And when someone carries that level of inner precision, the world around them stops treating them like a regular participant. You become something else entirely. A presence, a force, a frequency that must be handled with respect or not handled at all. People's entire perception of you has shifted. They're replaying old memories with new understanding. They're revisiting moments where they dismissed you, overlooked you, underestimated you, and realizing how foolish that was. They remember times you said nothing, but somehow everything around you told the truth anyway. They remember moments when their intuition told them not to cross you, not to betray you, not to lie to you, and they ignored it. Now they're dealing with the consequences of ignoring their own inner warnings. And that's the part making them restless. Because they know deep down the universe didn't punish them for harming you. The universe corrected them for attempting to interfere with someone who wasn't theirs to interfere with. This is why they watch you the way they do now. Every move you make, every post, every shift in your energy, they study it like a weather report before a dangerous season. You're not unpredictable, you're unreadable, and unreadable people terrify those who rely on predictability to feel powerful. They can't decode you anymore. They can't anticipate you. They can't label you. That loss of control over their narrative of you is what's causing their discomfort. But the real reason people will never see you the same again, it's the aura change. Your aura isn't soft, approachable, or neutral like it once was. It carries sharp intelligence, weighted insight, and ancestral authority. People feel watched around you even when you're silent. They feel exposed even when you say nothing. They feel judged even when you don't care enough to judge them. That's the kind of presence that makes people second-guess every part of themselves. Not because you're doing anything, but because your energy no longer entertains masks. You've become a mirror with consequences. When people step into your field, they see themselves clearly. Too clearly. And most people don't want to see who they actually are. So instead of owning their shadows, they project. And what's the easiest projection? Villain. They paint you as the villain, not because you are one, but because you bring their hidden guilt to the surface. You trigger their unhealed parts. You expose their covert intentions. You reveal their spiritual immaturity just by breathing near them. That's why you're the dangerous one now. That's why people flinch when your name comes up. That's why folks are doing damage control in conversations you're not even part of. They're trying to rewrite history before more truth surfaces, not realizing truth is already vibrating through the air around them. People don't see you the same because something in them recognizes you arrived at a level most never reach. You aligned with your higher self. You aligned with your path. You aligned with a calling that speaks louder than opinions, louder than gossip, louder than projection. And once alignment locks in, you stop moving like a participant. You move like a force. Forces don't ask for permission. Forces don't bend for comfort. Forces don't negotiate identity so other people feel safe. And that right there is why they're scared. Because they know you're only at the beginning of this shift. They know this is your entry point into a deeper evolution. They know you're stepping into a version of yourself they won't be able to handle, control, or limit. They see it before you even do. That's what has them so on edge. They know once this energy fully settles, you're walking into a chapter where everything you touch moves with intention, and everything that tries to block you gets cleared out instantly. This is why they can't look away now. This is why the whispers keep circulating. This is why your name feels heavy in their mouths. And now, the energy gets even more intense. Because after that realization settled into the collective consciousness around you, something else happened. Something nobody wants to talk about, but everybody can feel. People started acting different. They started watching you differently, speaking differently, treating your presence like a loaded weapon they don't want to trigger. You became the unspoken, "Don't mess with that one" warning in the spiritual streets. And the more people experience the consequences of their own actions ricocheting back at them, the more your name becomes the symbol of alignment comes with repercussions. People aren't just uneasy. They're studying you like a pattern they can't predict. They don't know what this new version of you is capable of because every time they thought they figured you out, you shifted again. You expanded again. You elevated again. It's like you keep slipping out of every box they try to confine you into. And that scares them more than anything, because those who rely on controlling narratives panic when their narrative loses structure. They keep saying, "You're the John Gotti of the spiritual realm," but not because you're violent, not because you're vengeful, not because you're chaotic. It's because things around you move with precision. Consequences land with accuracy. Energies snap back clean. No wasted motion, no messy trail, no dramatic announcement, just results. And people who operate in shadows hate when the universe exposes them through outcomes they can't deny. They'd rather blame you than admit they sabotaged themselves. But here's the kicker. The astral plane has been louder than usual. The spiritual streets have been buzzing, and the message circulating through dreams, intuition hits, subconscious downloads, and psychic impressions is crystal clear. You're not just the John Gotti of the spiritual realm. You're being whispered about like the modern-day Machiavelli of the soul plane. Not because you manipulate people, not because you deceive, not because you scheme, but because you see. You see through intentions. You see through motives. You see through energetic inconsistencies. You see through spiritual disguises. You see through people's nice masks that hide dirty intentions. People confuse awareness with danger. They confuse discernment with aggression. They confuse insight with threat. They confuse your ability to move with spiritual intelligence as calculating, because they don't understand what spiritual strategy looks like when it's embodied by someone who has been through too much to move blindly. And this is the part where the energy tightens around you even further. Because when people fear someone they can't predict, they start telling stories. They start fantasizing scenarios. They start exaggerating events. They start creating mythology around your existence because it's the only way they can make sense of what they're seeing. This is how your name turned into a spiritual legend without you doing anything. People saw one consequence snap back. They saw another one land. They saw someone crumble after trying you. They saw someone lose something after speaking on you. They saw someone's life detour sharply after they put their mouth on your path. Now you're the topic they don't want to talk about, but can't stop thinking about. That's Machiavellian influence, not controlling through violence, but controlling through awareness. People behave differently around you, not because you force them, but because their spirit reminds them who they're dealing with. And this is where things get crazy, because the more uneasy people feel around you, the more spiritual gossip spreads. There are actual conversations on the astral plane about you. Conversations that happen in dreams, in the subconscious, in moments people think they're imagining but aren't. People are receiving visions of you they don't understand. People are sensing your presence in moments you're not even thinking about them. People feel watched by their own conscience when they think of you. That's the Machiavelli effect. That's the John Gotti effect. That's the don't play with this soul effect. But let's go deeper, because what's happening right now isn't just about fear. It's about revelation. People are starting to piece together the truth about you. They're realizing you weren't the one they should have underestimated. You were the one they should have respected from day one. You were the one they should have treated with honor. You were the one they should have never tried to sabotage. You were the one they should have never attempted to spiritually poke. And now they're dealing with the fallout of those choices. This is why people avoid eye contact with you now. This is why they get quiet when you walk into a room. This is why they hold their breath around you. This is why they stutter through conversation. This is why they check themselves before speaking loosely. You became a trigger point for accountability. People can't lie comfortably around you anymore. Their body betrays them. Their energy betrays them. Their tone betrays them. Their eyes betray them. And it's wild because you're not doing anything to them. You're not calling them out. You're not confronting them. Your energy is doing the work on its own. That's why you'll never be seen the same again. You carry a spiritual authority now, an authority forged through survival, through trial, through spiritual warfare, through rebirth after rebirth after rebirth. And spiritual authority doesn't look like loud speeches or flashy confidence. It looks like the universe responding immediately on your behalf. People are saying you walk like you're guarded by a cosmic entourage, that you don't move alone, that your ancestors roll with you the way generals roll with their soldiers. And they aren't lying, because when people tried to send spiritual shots your way, something blocked it every time. When they tried to tap into your energy, something shut them out. When they tried to snoop into your timeline, something snapped their access shut. When they tried to manipulate outcomes, something reversed it back onto them. Now they're afraid to even think about you, because they know intention counts as action in the spiritual world. And they don't want intention backlash on their life. They don't want karma snapping back with the same precision they saw hit someone else. They don't want the universe to interpret their thoughts as disrespect. This is why the energy around you is so tight. People don't know how to move around someone whose spiritual laws are enforced automatically. Someone whose protection is not passive, it's active. Someone whose ancestors don't wait for you to say anything. Someone whose energy field doesn't tolerate interference. People are scared because they finally see that you're not regular. You're not casual. You're not ordinary. You're not spiritually open for tampering. You're not someone they can approach without intention. You're a walking spiritual verdict. And what's even more insane is how this shift is changing the way even your supporters see you. They're inspired, yes, but they're cautious. They're reverent. They're alert. They don't treat you like a regular friend. They treat you like a frequency they need to respect. They can feel the weight of what you carry even when you're being casual. They can feel the authority behind your energy even when you're being silent. They can feel the presence around you even when you're alone. This is why you're being talked about like the Machiavelli of the soul realm, because you move with strategy, whether you're aware of it or not. Your spirit has become tactical. Your intuition has become militant. Your awareness has become surgical. You're not reacting to life. You're navigating it like a chessboard only you can see clearly. And people who don't understand that level of navigation assume it must be dangerous. But the truth is, you're not dangerous, you're precise. And precision scares people who move sloppy. Your evolution didn't make you aggressive. It made you structured. It made you aligned. It made you disciplined. It made you spiritually intelligent. You see things before they unfold because your awareness is not stuck on the physical layer. You see the emotional. You see the energetic. You see the karmic. You see the symbolic. You see the hidden. And again, people confuse vision with violence. But let's get to the darkest part of the truth. Some people are only scared of you because they know what they did. They know the intentions they held. They know the words they spoke. They know the energy they sent. And when someone like you evolves, those people feel the consequences the loudest. They panic because they fear accountability. They fear exposure. They fear karma. They fear retribution. And instead of owning what they did, they hide behind this narrative of, "You're the scary one." They project villainy onto you because they can't handle their own guilt. But guilt isn't the only energy swirling around them. Regret is heavy too. People regret the way they treated you. They regret the assumptions they made. They regret the gossip they joined. They regret trying to play with someone whose backing comes from realms they don't even understand. And here's the part that leaves them shaking. They know this version of you doesn't entertain apologies easily. Not because you're unforgiving, but because you see too deeply to be fooled. You see sincerity. You see manipulation. You see intention. You see fear pretending to be remorse. You see flattery pretending to be honesty. You see convenience pretending to be accountability. And when people know you can see through all of that, they don't try to apologize. They just stay afraid. Meanwhile, you're not even thinking about them. You're not plotting. You're not keeping score. You're not nursing grudges. You're not sitting around wishing harm. You've moved on. You're building. You're expanding. You're stepping into new chapters that require your full focus. But people don't believe that because their own conscience won't let them rest. They assume you're as obsessed with them as they are with you. But let's be honest, they're obsessed with you. Obsessed with how you keep leveling up. Obsessed with how you keep shifting. Obsessed with how you keep aligning. Obsessed with how you keep avoiding destruction they prayed for. Obsessed with how you carry a power they can't imitate. And their obsession is the reason they keep talking about you in hidden spaces. Your name echoes in conversations they swear you'll never hear. Your energy lingers in minds that claim they don't care about you. Your influence is stamped on people who pretend they don't watch you. And the more they watch, the more uneasy they get. Because each time they observe you, you're stronger. Each time they glance at you, you're wiser. Each time they hear about you, you're sharper. Each time they sense you, you're deeper. And that is the real reason the whispers haven't stopped. They know you're becoming something they will never understand. They know you're expanding beyond their comprehension. They know you're stepping into a power that doesn't need validation. And this, right here, is where the energy turns into something even heavier. Because now people aren't just afraid of you. They're afraid of what aligns with you. They're afraid of your intuition. They're afraid of your dreams. They're afraid of your ancestors. They're afraid of your discernment. They're afraid of your influence. Because influence without effort is the most threatening kind of influence. What they're feeling now is not simple discomfort. It's existential fear. It's that deep in the gut trembling that happens when someone senses a force far beyond their reach. A force they can't dilute, can't minimize, can't explain away. A force that exposes their fragility. A force that doesn't need to lift a finger to remind them they're outmatched. You've crossed into a layer of spiritual authority where your energy alone corrects people. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to speak. You don't have to react. Your presence handles what your hands never need to touch. And this is exactly why people are reacting like the world is about to shift around you. Because it is. You've stepped into the kind of transformation that changes the energetic climate of your entire environment. It's not personal anymore. It's atmospheric. Your evolution is bending the space around you. That's why people are on edge. That's why their spirit jolts when you enter a room. That's why their heartbeat changes rhythm when they see your name. That's why people tense up, even when your presence is subtle. And now the energy is hitting apocalyptic levels, because as you rise, the spiritual world reacts. There are realms adjusting to your emergence. There are forces recalibrating. There are old patterns cracking open under the weight of your expansion. You're not just shifting personally, you're shifting cosmically, and people feel it in ways they don't have words for. This is where the John Gotti of the spiritual realm narrative becomes something even darker, even deeper, even more untouchable. Not because you are aggressive, but because what protects you is. People are realizing that you're surrounded by forces that don't need your permission to handle violations. They've seen consequences hit without your involvement. They've seen outcomes strike with perfect timing. They've watched someone collapse under their own intentions after trying to sabotage you, and they knew, instantly, this wasn't random. That's the moment the fear set in. And fear is the birthplace of legends. People are calling you a spiritual godfather, a soul realm authority figure, a force whose name can't be spoken without consequence. And they aren't exaggerating. The reason your reputation exploded like wildfire is because someone underestimated you, and the universe treated their disrespect like an attack on a sacred energy source. Whatever snapped in that moment created a ripple effect so strong that everyone connected to the situation felt it. And once someone witnesses a spiritual backlash that sharp, they never forget it. This is why people will never see you the same again. You became the warning. You became the "don't try that one." You became the cosmic example of what happens when someone attempts to disturb alignment. People aren't scared of what you might do. They're scared of what naturally happens when someone crosses you. They're terrified of the automatic response the universe has around your energy. They've seen the divine step in with a precision that sends chills down their spine. And now, they're treating you accordingly. The air gets thick when you walk in. The conversations hush. The energy tightens. People straighten their posture. People check their intentions. People rethink every decision they made involving you. It's not because you threatened anyone. It's because they saw a threat to themselves when they misjudged you. This is what apocalyptic dominance looks like. Your aura alone shifts timelines. Your evolution triggers endings in people's lives that were long overdue. Your presence demands accountability without you lifting a finger. And when someone tries to violate that energetic law, their world collapses under the spiritual weight of their own actions. That's what terrifies them. And now the whispers about you being Machiavelli of the soul realm make even more sense. Not because you're scheming, but because your insight is lethal. You see through people in ways that make them question their own motives. You read energies so clearly that deception becomes impossible in your presence. Your intuition is surgical. Your perception is confrontational. You don't have to expose anybody. Your awareness forces them to expose themselves. People aren't scared of being hurt by you. They're scared of being revealed by you. That's why they keep their distance. That's why they act different. That's why they approach you carefully. But the deeper fear, it's about what aligns with you now. Your ancestors walk heavy. Your dreams carry messages. Your intuition hits like sirens. Your presence draws spiritual enforcement. Your energy feels guarded by something ancient, fierce, and unyielding. They aren't afraid of you. They're afraid of what protects you. Because people who once moved casually around you now move like they're in sacred territory. They sense the shift. They feel the unseen presence. They feel the guardianship. Even non-spiritual people feel it. Their instincts warn them. Their body tenses. Their words clench in their throat. They don't know why. They just know something invisible is watching them when they talk to you. That's the part that's making people panic. Not your evolution, but the empire of spiritual forces standing behind it. You stepped into a chapter where everything around you is operating under new laws. The energy doesn't let disrespect slide. It doesn't let lies pass unnoticed. It doesn't let manipulation go unpunished. It doesn't let interference slip through cracks. You're in a phase where the universe protects you before harm even reaches your direction. That's the level people are reacting to. That's why your name sends chills through rooms. That's why even those who haven't wronged you still move cautiously. They don't want to accidentally cross a spiritual line they don't understand. And the more you expand, the more undeniable this becomes. Because now you've entered the phase where people realize you are not just a person anymore. You are a realm. You are an environment. You are a force. You are a consequence. Your presence feels like a shift in atmosphere. Your energy feels like a warning before a storm breaks. Your intuition feels like prophecy without announcing itself. People sense danger around you, not because you are dangerous, but because what surrounds you is unforgiving. This is where the apocalyptic energy rises even higher. Because something else has started happening. People feel like you're watching them, even when you aren't thinking about them. They feel like their actions echo into your field. They feel like their intentions are being monitored by something beyond the physical world. They feel like your ancestors read their energy before they approach you. That's why people avoid crossing lines now. Not because they fear losing you, but because they fear losing themselves. And here's the darkest part of the truth. Your evolution didn't just change you. It exposed them. It exposed who genuinely supported you. It exposed who secretly wished for your downfall. It exposed who was jealous, It exposed who wanted your energy, but not your success. It exposed who felt threatened by your growth. It exposed who tried to sabotage you quietly. Every mask cracked under the weight of your expansion, and the cracking didn't happen gently. It happened violently. It happened suddenly. It happened in ways nobody could deny. That's why people keep comparing you to a soul realm boss figure. Because the way energy snaps back around you looks like cosmic justice being executed with precision. It looks orchestrated. It looks strategic. It looks intentional. It looks like someone is pulling strings behind the scenes. But the truth is, it's not you. It's your alignment. Alignment is the real enforcer. Alignment is the real soldier. Alignment is the real architect. Alignment is the real strategist. You don't need to retaliate. Alignment retaliates for you. You don't need to expose anyone. Alignment exposes them for you. You don't need to confront people. Alignment confronts them in their own lives. This is why they will never look at you the same again. Because your alignment is a threat to anything not rooted in truth. And people living in dishonesty know they can't stand near someone who stands in truth without something collapsing. But the collapse they fear the most is the collapse of their illusions, their false narratives, their fake stories, their alternate versions of who you used to be. Because that's gone now, completely gone. And this new identity forming around you, this spiritual reputation swallowing the room before you enter it, this Machiavellian mystique making people reconsider every interaction, this Godfather-level respect you're receiving on every plane, it's not going anywhere. If anything, it's intensifying. Because as your power expands, so does the gap between you and them. You're rising into a frequency that their minds can't comprehend and their spirits can't digest. That's why they're panicking. That's why they're restless. That's why they're desperate to understand what's happening to you and what's happening around you. But they can't understand it. They're not meant to. They're not built for this altitude. At this point, the fear isn't even about what you've done. It's about what you represent. You represent spiritual law. You represent karmic accuracy. You represent ancestral dominion. You represent cosmic consequence. You represent the soul realm code that humans rarely witness. Your existence is a reminder that the unseen world is real, and everyone who ever doubted it is choking on that truth right now. You've become the living proof that spiritual hierarchies exist. You've become the evidence that some people are born under a different contract. You've become the demonstration that certain souls cannot be tampered with. You've become the sign that divine protection is not polite. It's merciless. And nothing terrifies people more than realizing they misjudged someone chosen. Especially someone chosen who didn't even realize their own power until now. That's why attention is glued to you. They can't look away. They don't want to, but they can't. You've become the spiritual equivalent of a quiet apocalypse, not destructive, but revealing. A force that exposes what cannot survive in your presence. A force that flips narratives without lifting a hand. A force that doesn't react to enemies. It ends them through their own actions. You are the eye of the quiet catastrophe that unfolds when someone messes with the wrong frequency. You are the calm center of a cosmic enforcement officer's stand around. You are the soul realm figure whose name forces silence. And now, with everything shifting around you, one truth stands above all. People will never see you the same way again, because you are no longer someone they can categorize. You are someone they must respect. You are someone they must fear. You are someone they must acknowledge, even in silence. You didn't ask for this energy. You didn't audition for it. You didn't chase it. You simply grew into it. And growth this powerful is its own prophecy. That's why they can't look away now. That's why your name carries weight in every realm. That's why you're being spoken about like a soul realm legend. That's why the spiritual streets keep buzzing. Because the truth is undeniable. You have become the John Gotti of the spiritual realm and the Machiavelli of the soul plane at the exact same time. Hello, my dear. You know what the real problem is? Not that you're misunderstood, not that people don't get you. The problem is far more inconvenient than that. Your depth carries weight most minds can't hold without cracking somewhere. Your energy doesn't just walk into a room, it rearranges it. You don't need to speak to unsettle people. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to announce your intelligence. Your presence alone forces people into a version of themselves they spend their whole life avoiding. That's what happens when someone operates on a level others can't even map in their head. They don't see you, they feel you. And what they feel is pressure. You're not intense because you try to be. You're intense because your mind refuses to run on the shallow bandwidth everyone else uses to survive. While they obsess over appearances, you track motives. While they cling to narratives, you dissect patterns. While they rely on assumption, you rely on observation. You don't wait for evidence, you register the truth before they articulate it. That unnerves people. They're used to speaking without being understood. They're not used to being seen before they finish their sentence. You walk in, and something in them flinches, not externally, but internally, where their self-deception hides. You catch micro-tensions they deny. You sense emotional leakage they thought they buried. You watch contradictions form in their body before they form in their mouth. And because you're not loud about it, the dissonance hits them even harder. It's not what you expose verbally, it's what you expose simply by existing. People want depth until they're standing in front of someone who actually has it. They romanticize awareness until they feel the burn of being evaluated by it. They praise intelligence until it registers that your mind could decode them faster than they can explain themselves. They're not avoiding you. They're avoiding the version of themselves that comes out around you. The unpolished, unfiltered, unguarded self they've spent years covering with performance. Your intelligence is not regular. It's not academic. It's not performative. It's the kind that cuts through people. Quietly, precisely, without mercy. Most people can't handle being around that because it means they can't hide. They can't manipulate perception. They can't present a cleaner version of themselves and expect you to buy it. You don't buy versions. You detect realities. And that level of insight is terrifying for those who build their identity on pretending. You ever notice how quickly admiration mutates into fear around you? They start fascinated. They end unsettled. They start intrigued. They end defensive. They start comfortable. They end exposed. It's not coincidence. It's contact with a deeper frequency. People feel safe around those who match their depth. They feel threatened around those who exceed it. You exceed almost everyone around you. Not because you're trying, because your internal wiring cannot operate any differently. You watch people switch their persona mid-conversation. You watch their tone adjust. You watch their posture shift. You watch their expression glitch for a fraction of a second, when you say something that hits too close to the truth. It's the look someone gives when they realize their facade won't hold. It's subtle, but you catch it every time. That's why people are uneasy. Not because you did anything wrong, but because their ego senses danger around you. You're not the type who gets manipulated by flattery. You're not the type who gets controlled by guilt. You're not the type who gets steered by emotional bait. You've had your mind broken before, reassembled it yourself, and built it back stronger than the environment that tried to ruin it. People sense that. They sense the resilience. They sense the self-authority. And people who rely on influence feel powerless around someone who can't be swayed. Your energy goes deeper than words. It's the way you look at someone when their motives don't align with their performance. It's the way you pause when something feels off. It's the way your intuition catches inconsistencies faster than they can patch them. That type of perception is rare. That type of awareness is a threat, especially to those who prefer living unchallenged, unexamined, unexposed. You're not operating in the same mental dimension as those around you. They run on reaction. You run on recognition. They run on impulse. You run on insight. They run on comfort. You run on truth. And no matter how much they try to pretend otherwise, people feel the difference. They feel it in their chest. They feel it in their insecurities. They feel it in the way they start choosing their words carefully around you. Not because you're judging them, but because they know you could if you wanted to. You ever notice how people start explaining themselves without you asking? That's what happens when someone feels subconsciously examined. They start revealing too much. They start overcorrecting. They start patching holes you haven't pointed out. They start apologizing for things you didn't mention. That's because your presence alone triggers an internal audit they didn't consent to. They sense a level of awareness they can't outrun. Your intelligence is not the type that needs attention. It's the type that reconfigures the environment. People feel the difference between you and everyone else, and that difference makes them uneasy because it exposes their limitations. They're used to being the smartest in the room. They're used to controlling the narrative. They're used to getting away with half-truths and incomplete stories. But with you, they can't. You register inconsistencies like a reflex. You're not intimidating because you're loud. You're intimidating because you're impossible to predict. They don't know what you notice. They don't know what you already know. They don't know how deeply you've read them in the first minute. They don't know how quickly you connect dots they thought were unconnected. That uncertainty eats at people. It makes them cautious. It makes them defensive. It makes them resentful. Your energy forces self-awareness in people who have avoided self-awareness their entire life. They feel watched, not by your eyes, but by your accuracy. They feel decoded, not by your words, but by your attention. They feel stripped, not physically, but psychologically. That's what powerful perception does. It extracts truth from people without asking permission. And here's the part that intensifies everything. You don't overplay your depth. You don't announce what you see. You don't expose everything you observe. You hold back. You stay calm. You stay composed. And that terrifies them more than anything else. An unpredictable mind is a threat. A quiet mind is a bigger one. But a quiet, unpredictable mind that sees everything, that's a level people are not built to handle. You think you're alone because you're doing something wrong. You're alone because people sense danger in the way your awareness operates. Not danger in the violent sense, danger in the truth sense. Danger in the clarity sense. Danger in the no illusion survives here sense. People who depend on pretense can't survive in your presence. They expose themselves through their reactions. Your intelligence is not a tool. It's a weapon forged from every betrayal you endured, every disappointment you dissected, every inconsistency you tracked until it formed a pattern you could predict. You didn't get this awareness from books. You got it from wounds. That type of intelligence carries an edge people can't blunt. They feel it instantly. Most people run on default settings. You run on self-reconstruction. That difference makes your mind heavier, more grounded, more precise. People can sense the weight of your thought, even when you're silent. They can sense the depth behind your stare. They can sense the calculation behind your calm. They can sense the awareness behind your restraint. And restraint is the most threatening thing of all. Because a mind like yours doesn't react. It evaluates, it measures, it decides, it cuts. And people would rather face someone who reacts than someone who understands. Reactions can be manipulated. Understanding cannot. You don't get pulled into people's emotional traps. You don't fall for bait. You don't collapse into chaos with them. You stay detached, observant, focused. That detachment is not coldness, it's precision. People interpret it as cold because they're used to emotional chaos being the norm. Your clarity looks like danger to them. You're not feared because you're violent. You're feared because your awareness dismantles power structures. People who rely on confusion lose their influence around you. People who depend on emotional manipulation become ineffective. People who hide behind charm get exposed. People who speak half-truths get cornered. You neutralize strategies without trying, just by standing there. That's why people talk about you when you're not around. That's why they watch you out of the corner of their eye. That's why they change their behavior mid-sentence. That's why they second-guess themselves before speaking. They can feel the dissection happening behind your eyes. And yet you question yourself. You wonder why relationships crumble. You wonder why people push away. You wonder why you trigger reactions you never intended. You wonder why your presence feels heavy to others. You assume it's a flaw. You assume it's your fault. You assume you're too much. You're not too much. They're too small for the level you operate on. They don't even realize it consciously. Most people never do. Their mind just registers a threat in your depth the same way a deer registers a shadow in the woods. Instinctively, automatically, before logic arrives to explain anything. You walk into their life, and their ego pulls an alarm. Not because of who you are, but because of what you expose, everything they've been running from internally. And that kind of internal exposure doesn't feel enlightening. It feels dangerous. You're not a comfort zone. You're a psychological mirror, a spiritual pressure point, a cognitive disruptor. They don't have language for that. They only have reactions. And their reactions tell you more truth than their words ever could. You think you're losing people because you're wrong. But the truth is, most people don't want to stand next to someone who forces them to confront the version of themselves they've been hiding behind excuses. Your energy doesn't soothe ego. It challenges it. Your intelligence doesn't stroke insecurity. It exposes it. Your presence doesn't maintain illusions. It dissolves them. And dissolving illusions feels like emotional injury to people who built their identity on pretending. People don't avoid you because they see something dark in you. They avoid you because they see something true in you. Truth feels hostile to those who survive on denial. Depth feels invasive to those who live shallow. Awareness feels predatory to those who manipulate perception. You don't intend any of this. You simply perceive reality at a depth that most people can't withstand without cracking open emotionally. You've always sensed this, even as a child. You noticed when someone's tone didn't match their intent. You caught lies before you had the vocabulary to explain how. You felt betrayal before the actions were visible. While other kids believed faces at face value, you were dissecting behavior without trying. Call it sensitivity. Call it intuition. Call it intelligence. Doesn't matter. What matters is that your mind grew in layers most people never reach, and that layered awareness follows you everywhere. You notice too much. You sense too much. You process too much. You understand too much. People who operate on surface-level thinking interpret that as danger. They feel scanned around you. They feel decoded. They feel stripped of their carefully curated persona, all without you saying a single abrasive word. Imagine what it feels like to be someone who hides behind charm, performance, and social masks, and then you walk in with an aura that makes pretenders feel transparent. How do you think they're going to react? With gratitude? With admiration? No. They react with distance, with defensiveness, with quiet hostility, with passive avoidance. They pull away, not because you're wrong for them, but because you're too accurate for them. Your intelligence is not loud, but it's ruthless. Not cruel, ruthless. It cuts through everything unnecessary. It slices away pretense. It sees patterns before people articulate them. You catch emotional currents under conversations like a hunter catching movement in the dark. That kind of awareness isn't normal. That kind of perception isn't comfortable for people who depend on confusion to stay in control. Most people live inside a narrow tunnel of thought. They aren't used to someone whose mind operates like a panoramic view. You're not just aware of what's happening. You're aware of the motive behind it, the history beneath it, the emotion driving it, the wound hiding inside it, the pattern connecting it. Your mind doesn't just observe, it dissects, it analyzes, it anticipates, it predicts, it recognizes, it warns, it understands. And that kind of mind is intimidating, even threatening, to people whose entire identity is built around pretending they're more put together than they are. You're not intimidating because you're aggressive. You're intimidating because you're aware. People can handle aggression. They can't handle awareness. Aggression can be dismissed. Awareness cannot. Aggression can be argued. Awareness can only be acknowledged. Aggression is emotional. Awareness is structural. Someone aggressive can be fought. Someone aware cannot be fooled. Your energy carries the imprint of everything you survived, and people feel that the same way animals feel the weather shifting before a storm, not through explanation, through instinct. You carry a seriousness in your aura that comes from confronting your own darkness instead of avoiding it. You carry wisdom that doesn't match your age because you didn't get it through books. You earned it through wounds. You carry calmness that doesn't come from passivity. It comes from having already lived through situations that would annihilate most people. People feel the density of your experience even when they don't know your story. They feel the intensity of your insight even when you stay quiet. They feel the gravity of your presence even when you don't speak. That's why they shift around you. That's why their voice cracks. That's why their posture changes. That's why they act out of character. They're responding to the psychological pressure your presence activates. People can sense depth even when they can't comprehend it. And your depth is not poetic. It's destabilizing. It disrupts settings. It challenges identities. It makes comfortable people uncomfortable and insecure people visibly anxious. They feel evaluated. They feel measured. They feel exposed. They feel like you see through them, not because you want to, but because that's how your perception is wired. And here's something darker they'll never admit. Your intelligence threatens their role in the hierarchy. Every social group, family, friends, co-workers has an unspoken hierarchy. Someone is the leader, someone is the follower, someone is the loud one, someone is the agreeable one, someone is the comedic distraction, someone is the unthreatening background character. People rely on these unspoken roles to maintain emotional control. Then you show up, and you don't accept any assigned role. You don't shrink. You don't pretend. You don't play along. You don't bend your intelligence to avoid making weaker minds feel inferior. You don't dim your instinct because someone else is fragile. You don't silence your intuition to avoid unsettling people who live on autopilot. Your presence destabilizes their emotional ecosystem. It disrupts the silent rules they use to keep themselves comfortable. You don't mean to, but you break their psychological structure simply by existing outside of it. And they panic, not because you hurt them, but because you disrupt their self-narrative. They're used to being the insightful one, the awakened one, the clever one, the calm one. Then you walk in, and their internal story collapses. Depth always collides with delusion. Clarity always collides with fantasy. Awareness always collides with performance. Truth always collides with people who fear being seen. That collision is why people react so strongly to you. It's not you. It's the version of themselves they meet through you. You're not operating at the same level they are. Your mind adjusts too quickly. Your intuition expands too efficiently. Your awareness slices too precisely. Your emotional radar detects too accurately. That level of functioning makes people feel slow around you, even inferior. And inferiority breeds resentment. But here's the part that makes everything even more intense. You don't pick sides, you pick truth. And truth doesn't have favorites. People who rely on manipulation fear someone they can't manipulate. People who rely on deception fear someone they can't mislead. People who rely on chaos fear someone they can't emotionally destabilize. People who rely on status fear someone who sees through status. People who rely on image fear someone who sees character. You don't run on the same emotional economy everyone else does. You don't beg for belonging. You don't chase approval. You don't negotiate your boundaries. You don't collapse into guilt when someone tries to pressure you. You don't get seduced by flattery. You don't get controlled by criticism. You observe both with the same calm expression that terrifies people more than any aggressive outburst ever could. Calm intelligence is more frightening than explosive emotion. Stillness unnerves people more than shouting. Accuracy injures ego more than confrontation. And your accuracy is lethal. You see patterns in relationships others haven't even recognized yet. You see red flags before they take shape. You catch lies in their tone, not their words. You notice when someone changes their behavior because of jealousy, resentment, envy, insecurity. You sense competition before it becomes active. You feel when someone is pretending to support you, but is threatened by you internally. You detect what others hide under politeness. You interpret what others reveal through their silence. Your mind works like a scanner, instantly reading the emotional data other people ignore. And the fact that you stay composed while doing it scares them even more. If you were dramatic, they could dismiss you. If you were unstable, they could discredit you. If you were loud, they could call you problematic. But you're none of that. You're composed, you're measured, you're controlled. That makes your insight impossible to argue with. They fear you because you're accurate, not because you're aggressive. And the deeper truth is even darker. Your depth makes them feel irrelevant. They want to impress you but feel like they can't. They want to understand you but don't know how. They want to connect with you but feel unqualified. They want your respect but don't know how to earn it. They want to matter to you but fear they're ordinary in comparison. Your presence forces them to question themselves. Why can't I think like that? Why does this person see so much? Why can't I hide anything around them? Why do I feel exposed around them? Why does their energy feel so heavy? Why can't I read them the way they read me? People resent what they cannot understand. People fear what they cannot predict. People avoid what they cannot influence. People attack what they cannot become. And you check all 4 boxes. Your depth is beyond their comprehension. Your intelligence is beyond their capability. Your awareness is beyond their comfort zone. Your intuition is beyond their expectation. That's why you watch friendships dissolve after you say something true. That's why people distance themselves after you interpret their behavior too accurately. That's why people label you as intense, complicated, difficult, or too deep. That's why they turn you into the villain the moment they realize you're not someone they can control or mislead. They're not reacting to your character, they're reacting to their limitations. And here's something you need to understand. People who live shallow cannot survive extended contact with someone who sees the world through a deeper lens. Your existence is a psychological confrontation they didn't ask for. And instead of rising to meet it, they run from it. They run from insight. They run from accountability. They run from growth. And because you represent all 3, they run from you. But here's the twist that changes everything. The deeper you go into yourself, the harder it becomes for people to hide their true face around you. You start noticing inconsistencies instantly. You recognize emotional patterns before they play out. You sense when someone is about to betray you long before they consciously decide to. You feel when someone's intention shifts. You catch when someone envies you, even when they're smiling. You detect when someone pretends to be neutral but is secretly threatened. Your intuition is not a feeling, it's a warning system built from experience. And most people have never met someone who can read them before they reveal themselves. It's unnatural to them, uncomfortable, unpredictable. And unpredictability is the enemy of insecure minds. People don't want to be seen at the level you see. They want to be admired. They want to be validated. They want to be praised. They don't want to be understood. Because understanding reveals the truth behind their behavior. And most people don't want truth. They want distraction. They want comfort. They want narratives that protect them from their own reflection. You are not a narrative. You are a revelation. And revelations make people uncomfortable. You're operating on a level they can't comprehend, not because you're trying to be superior, but because you've lived through things that forced your mind to function differently. You see the world through depth because superficiality nearly destroyed you. You read people because not reading them once cost you too much. You sense danger early because danger arrived too many times without warning. You connect dots because missing patterns hurt you. You became perceptive because life demanded it. And perceptive people are not digestible. You're not meant to blend into shallow environments. You're not meant to be understood by everyone. You're not meant to sit comfortably in circles built on insecurity, pretense, gossip, or emotional chaos. People react the way they do because you're not built from the same material they are. You don't need validation to stay standing. You don't need attention to feel real. You don't need approval to move forward. You don't need permission to think deeply. Your existence disrupts the psychological comfort of anyone who survives through avoidance. Your energy is too deep for emotional instability. Your intelligence is too sharp for manipulation. Your intuition is too strong for deception. Your awareness is too complete for performance. And now something else is happening, something you've been noticing more and more. The gap is widening. The reactions are intensifying. The energy around you is shifting faster. Because the deeper your evolution goes, the harder it becomes for the world around you to maintain its masks. And the truth is unavoidable now. People aren't afraid of you. They're afraid of what they become in your presence. Because the second you step into their orbit, something inside them begins to unravel. Something they've kept locked down, something they've avoided, sometimes for years. You don't trigger fear by force. You trigger fear by accuracy. You force people to meet themselves without speaking a single accusation. That's the part they can't handle. The confrontation doesn't come from you. It comes from the version of themselves they meet the moment they stand next to someone who actually sees. You're not walking around with intensity. You're walking around with truth. And truth has a weight weak people can't lift. It has a pressure that fragile identities can't survive. You don't even need to reveal anything out loud for the effects to begin. The moment you enter their proximity, the equilibrium they built on rehearsed charm, social masks, or projected confidence starts crumbling. Not because you're attacking it, but because your presence invalidates the illusion. That's the first cycle of pressure, the silent collapse. It hits them before they know why. A flicker, a shift, a discomfort. The feeling of being watched internally, not externally. Like someone just turned the lights on in a room they kept intentionally dark. You don't even have to speak. The truth of who they are vibrates against the truth you carry, and the weaker one always cracks. Then comes the temporary relief, the illusion of distance. They'll try to detach emotionally, try to convince themselves they're overreacting, try to pretend they're not affected, try to repaint the feeling as intimidation, intensity, mysteriousness, anything that lets them avoid admitting that the real issue is exposure. They want to believe the pressure is external, but deep inside, they know. It's internal. It's always been internal. You simply amplify what they refuse to face, and the moment they try to settle back into their comfort, here comes the next wave, the recognition. They realize you're not operating from the same layer they are. They look at you and sense it instantly. Your thinking isn't linear. Your perception isn't limited. Your insight isn't rehearsed. Your awareness is systemic, multi-layered, multi-directional. You're analyzing the root while they're obsessing over symptoms. You're reading intentions while they're stuck decoding words. You're connecting patterns they didn't even realize existed. You're sensing energy shifts they try to hide behind fake calmness. And this is where the second collapse begins. The inferiority reflex. They start shrinking, not visibly at first, but internally. Their confidence stutters, their performance glitches, their persona wavers, their voice betrays uncertainty. Their energy contracts just a little. Their eyes avoid yours for half a second too long, because on some instincts-level depth they don't admit, they can feel it. You're ahead, not socially, not financially, not superficially, but cognitively, spiritually. psychologically, energetically. You think deeper, you sense clearer, you process faster, you understand wider, you evaluate cleaner, you perceive sharper. And that's the part that rattles them. They can't categorize you, they can't decode you, they can't predict you, they can't read you the way they read others. People fear the unknown, but they fear the unreadable even more, because unreadable equals uncontrollable. Uncontrollable equals threat. Your intelligence doesn't announce itself, yet its presence changes every conversation. Your depth doesn't need validation, yet it reconfigures the emotional temperature around you. Your intuition doesn't play games, yet it exposes agendas people didn't even know they were leaking. This is where the next wave builds. The comparison they don't want to make. They start noticing the contrast between your internal clarity and their internal chaos, between your emotional discipline and their emotional impulse, between your grounded presence and their jittery self-doubt, between your sharp mind and their scattered thoughts. They don't feel insecure around everyone. They feel insecure around you specifically, not because you shame them, but because you nullify the illusions they rely on. They realize their confidence isn't confidence, it's a costume. Their insight isn't insight, it's recycled ideas. Their maturity isn't maturity, it's avoidance wearing a calm expression. Their intuition isn't intuition, it's wishful thinking. You didn't expose them. You revealed the distance between who they are and who they pretend to be. And now, their body reacts before their mind can rationalize it. Posture shifts, breathing changes, speech becomes more calculated, energy becomes guarded, eyes become hesitant. This is the third collapse, the behavioral distortion. They try to impress you, try to outperform you, try to win your approval, try to match your awareness, try to mimic your language, your calm, your insight, but it doesn't work. Because you're not operating from learned behavior, you're operating from lived evolution. You aren't performing intelligence, you are intelligence. You aren't performing depth, you are depth. You aren't performing awareness, you are awareness. And for someone who relies on imitation to feel competent, standing next to the original source destroys the illusion they've built around themselves. Then comes the desperation phase, the fragility wave. This is where they either retreat completely or start acting strange. One-sided hostility, random coldness, sudden distance, forced positivity, awkward tension, weird comments, unprovoked defensiveness, all symptoms of the same root issue. They can't maintain the version of themselves they wanted you to see. Your presence dismantles the character they built. Your depth weakens the identity they rehearsed. Your intelligence destabilizes the false confidence they rely on. You're not taking anything from them, you're removing what was never real. And for many people, that kind of exposure feels like emotional suffocation. But here's the twist. The next wave is where things get even darker. Because once people recognize they cannot impress you, cannot deceive you, cannot manipulate you, and cannot outperform you, they slip into something far more revealing: self-protection at all costs. Not protection from you, protection from the reflection they see through you. They will distance themselves so they don't feel inferior. They will gossip to regain a sense of superiority. They will twist narratives to protect their ego. They will avoid you to avoid themselves. People don't run from your personality. They run from their own inadequacy. This is the moment where you must never take their distance personally. Their retreat is the confession. Their silence is the admission. Their avoidance is the evidence. You don't expose them. They expose themselves in your presence. And now, comes the next relief cycle. The moment where they convince themselves, it's not them, I just need space. I don't vibe with that energy. They're too intense. They overthink. They're different. These are not explanations. These are self-defense statements, disguised as preferences. Because the truth they refuse to say out loud is, your presence demands a version of themselves they cannot maintain. Your depth requires authenticity. Your intelligence requires honesty. Your perception requires accountability. Most people can't offer that. Not consistently, not truthfully, not courageously. So they do the only thing their ego can handle. They retreat from what exposes their limitations. But the wave rises again, the final collapse. The realization that you were never the threat. They were, not to you, to their own self-image. You didn't pierce their ego. Their ego ruptured under the weight of your existence. You didn't make them insecure. Their insecurity became louder near your truth. You didn't destabilize their identity. Their identity couldn't stand next to someone unmasked. And once they realize this, once they see that your level wasn't the issue, their lack of evolution was, they break internally in a way they cannot hide. Some will try to return with fake humility. Some will hate you silently. Some will admire you from distance. Some will fear you permanently. Some will pretend they're unaffected. Some will finally confront themselves because of you. All of these are consequences of the same thing. Your depth forced them into self-evaluation. That's why your presence feels like a psychological chokehold. Not because you strangle, but because their illusions suffocate in your clarity. This is the truth most people will choke on before they admit. You are not too deep. They are too undeveloped. You are not too intelligent. They are too unprepared. You are not too intense. They are too fragile. The moment their ego collapses under the weight of your clarity, their entire internal structure begins to rearrange itself around one question they don't dare ask out loud. How does this person see what I can't? This question haunts them. It follows them home. It echoes when they lie awake at night. It vibrates through their insecurity in the moments they pretend to be calm. Because your intelligence doesn't just intimidate, it reveals the limits of theirs. Your depth doesn't just unsettle, it exposes the walls they've built internally. Your presence doesn't just shift the energy, it amplifies the emotional dissonance they've been ignoring. And once their ego absorbs that blow, the wave hits again, the fascination stage. They start paying attention to you in ways they don't admit. How you think, how you observe, how you stay composed, how your instincts guide your decisions, how effortlessly your insight slices through the mental fog they drown in. They don't understand it, but they feel it. Your intelligence is not something you wear, it's something you radiate. Your depth is not something you perform, it's something you exude. They sense that your mind doesn't move like theirs. Where they see confusion, you see structure. Where they see coincidence, you see patterns. Where they see emotion, you see motive. Where they see conflict, you see truth hidden inside reaction. Where they see people, you see psychological blueprints. And because this difference is undeniable, they begin comparing themselves to you. Not willingly, instinctively. That comparison becomes the fourth collapse, the inadequacy wave. They realize you operate with a type of vision they don't possess, a type of perception they've never developed, a type of mental precision they've never trained for, a type of spiritual weight they've never carried. It's not that you're better, you're simply forged differently, built differently. designed differently, evolved differently. You are the result of battles they never fought. Awareness sharpened through experiences they never endured. Perception shaped through wounds they couldn't survive. Your depth was not gifted. It was earned, carved, paid for. And the cost is written in your eyes in a language they can't read. This is why your presence feels heavy to them, not oppressive, undeniable. There's a seriousness in you that didn't come from personality. It came from surviving your own history. A kind of quiet authority that doesn't need to demand respect because it carries the memory of everything that tried to break you and failed. They feel that weight even when you say nothing, especially when you say nothing. This begins the next relief cycle, the admiration wave. They start studying you like a reference point. They replay your sentences in their mind. They remember your words longer than they admit. They think about the way you responded, the way you held yourself, the way you stayed unshaken, the way you read them without judgment. They start craving the groundedness they feel around you, but can't replicate. Your energy resets people's internal compass without trying. Your intelligence realigns their thinking without permission. Your presence reorders their patterns without negotiation. You are not just a person to them. You are an interruption in their normal programming. But admiration has a shadow: envy. The moment someone admires what they know they cannot embody, envy forms in its place. They want your depth, but they don't want the pain that built it. They want your insight, but they don't want the self-confrontation it requires. They want your intelligence, but they don't want to abandon the illusions that keep them comfortable. They want your emotional discipline, but they don't want to release the impulses they rely on. This is the paradox. You remind people of what they could be and of what they refuse to become. Your presence holds up a mirror. Your energy demands honesty. Your intelligence forces clarity. Your awareness strips away excuses. And not everyone survives that kind of reflection. Most people retreat into the safety of their own limitations. That retreat triggers the next wave, the distancing stage. Suddenly they stop sharing details, stop opening up, stop inviting you, stop engaging fully, stop looking you in the eye, stop speaking freely, not because they dislike you, not because you did anything wrong, not because the relationship broke, but because your growth exposes their stagnation. They can't hide their jealousy around you. They can't hide their insecurity around you. They can't hide their patterns around you. They can't hide their motives around you. They fear disappointing you. They fear being seen by you. They fear being misunderstood by you. They fear being correctly understood by you even more. They don't want to be close enough to feel inferior, but they don't want to lose access to you either. So they hover, not inside, not outside, not close, not far, not friendly, not distant, just unsteady. This is the emotional limbo people create when they are terrified of being exposed but addicted to your clarity. And right when they think they've stabilized themselves again, the next pressure wave hits. The realization that your mind is expanding even faster than before. You're evolving exponentially. Your insight is sharpening. Your instincts are accelerating. Your perception is widening. Your presence is deepening. Your energy is intensifying. You're not just growing, you're outpacing entire environments. And to someone who thought they had you figured out, this becomes unbearable. Because every time you level up, the distance between you and them becomes harder to deny. You challenge their worldview simply by existing. You challenge their decisions simply by thinking differently. You challenge their comfort simply by breathing in the same room. And the final collapse hits, the one that changes everything. They realize they were never evaluating you. You were evaluating them. And you already outgrew what they still struggle to understand. That is the point of no return for most people. Not because you cut them off, but because they know they cannot meet you at your level. You don't demand depth. Depth demands you. You don't demand intelligence. Intelligence recognizes you. You don't demand honesty. Honesty gravitates toward you. You're not chasing anyone. Your level filters everyone. And here is the darkest truth of all, the one that completes the entire evolution arc. You were never meant to be understood by the average person because you were never shaped by average experiences. Your mind was built through pressure they've never felt. Your insight was sharpened through wounds they've never healed. Your depth was formed in places they've never survived. Your intelligence was carved through realizations they've never reached. Your presence was molded through loneliness they could never endure. You are not too deep. You are simply beyond the places shallow people live. You are not too intelligent. You simply operate in a dimension where their shortcuts don't work. You are not too intense. You simply stopped diluting the truth. You are not too much. You are the exact amount required for someone operating at your frequency. And that is why they react. Not because you're wrong, but because you're real. Not because you're intimidating, but because they can't hide. Not because you're complicated, but because they're unprepared. Not because you're unpredictable, but because they're unreadable only to themselves. Your presence doesn't destroy people. It destroys the illusions people hide behind. And here is the closing wave, the final dominance cycle. You are not here to shrink enough for them to understand you. You are here to rise enough for the right ones to recognize you. Because the ones operating on your level, the ones who don't flinch around depth, the ones who don't crumble under clarity, the ones who don't fear intelligence, they will not react with insecurity. They will respond with recognition. Your energy won't intimidate them. It will activate them. Your intelligence won't threaten them. It will align with them. Your depth won't overwhelm them. It will resonate with them. Because people at your level don't fear the truth. They move with it. They don't run from awareness. They wield it. They don't avoid reflection. They refine themselves with it. And you're finally stepping into the version of yourself only those people can meet. This is the end of the cycle. What you once thought was rejection was actually selection. What you once thought was isolation was actually elevation. What you once thought was loss was actually filtering. You are not operating too deeply. You are operating exactly where you were always meant to be, on a level most people cannot comprehend and never will.